goddesses. My relationship with the goddess in her three faces is as much a part of my path as my breath. So it was a revelation to me to find that the first three graces, humility, hope, and endurance, were a perfect match for the maiden, the mother, and the crone. In this next part, I will introduce you to the three goddesses that I consider gateways. They open us up to the other graces, a strong foundation to build upon. To start, a simple version of prayer for each gateway goddess. Dearest maiden goddess, please open the gateway grace of humility, for I know that I do not know and am willing to be shown. Dearest mother goddess, please grant me the gateway grace of hope, that I alone do nothing, and with you, all things are possible. Dearest crone goddess, please grant me the gateway grace of endurance, that I may endure this with integrity and gracefully endure. Thank you. So mote it be. Amen. Humility. Dearest God, goddess, all that is, grant me the maiden grace of humility to know that I do not know and that I am willing to be shown. Let this maiden grace flow through me and out into this world, that it may be my shield and be a blessing upon all it touches. Thank you. So mote it be. Amen. All these years that I've been studying grace, I'm really beginning to realize that I could spend the rest of my life only studying grace. Even then, I may only be scratching the surface. Then again, the study is not as important as the experience. The first grace that I started studying and practicing is the grace of humility, which I had resistance to at first because of what my previous definition of humility was. Sort of like groveling and, oh no, it's okay, I'm not good enough, or I'm lesser than. And I learned that's humiliation. Self-humiliation, not humility. That the grace of humility is the shield that protects you from humiliation. And to this day, it's still the most potent grace that I've come across, and one that I pray for and invoke and reach for daily, several times a day. I call it the maiden grace. Well, there's also the mother grace and the crone grace, and we'll get to those next, but the maiden grace of humility is a gateway grace, a grace that opens you up to other graces, softens you, brings you to a place of peace and stillness. Knowing that I don't know is important. Because when we think we know, when we don't, we really set ourselves up for a lot of suffering. The grace of humility is knowing that you don't know. The mind, being the brilliant tool that it is, will automatically, mechanistically try to fill in the blanks when we don't know. And more often than not, it fills in those blanks with fiction, usually worst case scenarios. Which, let's face it, that's how we're trained since we're children. So I'd like you to, if you can, when we talk about these graces, to maybe get yourself a white candle, a tea light, anoint it with an oil that you like. Sometimes I'll just go straight up olive oil just to set it apart from the other candles. There's nothing better than a bag of tea lights, right? 100 tea lights for $10. That's 100 opportunities for grace and prayer and magic as well. If you just light a candle and just focus on its flame. Then offer this as an example prayer. It's not terribly long, but it's a good prayer. Take a few breaths just to focus on the breath and bring yourself into the present moment. To find that moment of stillness and silence within, regardless of what's going on around you. And offer a prayer like this. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, hover over me. Let the grace of humility rise within me. Flood me with this grace of humility to know that I do not know, that I am willing to be shown the truth, not just what's true in any situation, but the truth that underlies everything in my present moment and in my life situations in general. Grant me the grace of humility that I may go forward into this world with innocence, with the purity of the moment, like the Maiden goddess, that it may open me to other experiences with clear eyes and an open heart and a certain spiritual defenselessness, that my lessons may come to me, that my blessings may come to me, and that I may perceive others in this world as innocent at their core, knowing that I do not know what their stories are, what their wounds are, where they've been or where they're going, but in the present moment, I may have a soft heart and an innocent mind. Thank you. So mote it be. Amen. Hope. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, please grant me the mother grace of hope, to know that I alone do nothing, and with the gods all things are possible. Thank you. So mote it be. Amen. Let's talk about hope. Growing up in my family, I heard the word hope probably as much as anyone else. But there's one thing in particular I noticed. My family, in particular, used the word hope, but it felt like worry. It was in the way they said it. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they don't forget. I hope you don't get into trouble today. Well, if you tune into that, you can feel that's not hope, that's worry. Cultivating hope in my life as a grace, the grace of hope has become essential to me moving forward. Grace is a mystical substance. It's been part of my daily spiritual practice to not just breathe the grace of hope from myself and to keep myself moving forward, but to channel it outwards. Yes, through prayer, through meditation, through spell work, through sending grace, but also just in natural interactions with people. Cashiers at the supermarket, tellers at the bank, people in line at Starbucks, and particularly the baristas there. And it's not always so much what I say, it's just the way I am in that moment, to uplift them a little bit, to consciously, deliberately transmit the grace of hope. We may never know intellectually what grace really is, but it is something that we can experience, that we can feel, that we can move through us and out into the world as channels of grace. That there is a highest good, a higher good, and a highest good manifesting right here, right now. And of course, I don't say that to them. It's more the energy behind my actions, even if I'm just standing there. And it it looks like I'm waiting in line, something moves through me. So the prayer that I use to bring grace in, or more accurately to tune myself to the grace of hope, is a very simple one. Take a nice deep breath. It goes something a little like this. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, hover over me, flow the grace of hope through me, the mother grace of hope, that I alone do nothing, but with God, with Goddess, with the divine, all things are possible. I am willing. Let this grace rise up within me and flow outward into this world. Hope that a highest good is manifesting, whether I'm aware of it or not. Whatever is in this present moment, there is hope. Let that hope move me forward. May I share it with everyone who crosses my path today, known and unknown, silently through my actions. May this grace of hope flow through me. Make me a channel of the grace of hope today. Thank you. So mote it be. Amen. I call it the Mother Grace of Hope. The Divine Mother, in whatever face or name you may know her, the Goddess in whatever culture, the Divine Feminine, the Sacred Yin, she who nurtures hope, that this too shall pass, but this too has purpose. How often in our lives have we looked back over our shoulder and seen that we couldn't be where we are without what we've gone through? And as one of my guides said to me, there is no alchemy without lead. That even the most tremendous trials and tribulations in our experience prepared us for something worthy, for something healing, for something magnificent. How can you turn lead into gold without lead? How can you heal if there isn't something there to heal? And we all have something to heal, and we always will as long as we're in physical form. The grace of hope keeps me moving back to alchemy and forgiveness and healing. I hope this prayer uplifts you today, and that you become the channel of grace, of hope for yourself and everyone around you, and indeed all of life. Endurance. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, please grant me the crone grace of endurance, that I may endure with integrity and grace, then gracefully endure. Thank you. So mote it be. Amen. How often have we said, "Oh, good God, Goddess, please give me strength"? Well, that's a prayer. You're asking, you shall receive. But what you're asking for is a strength beyond your normal self. Divine strength, the strength of your soul, the strength of spirit. This is what the grace of endurance is. You know, we have to endure things in the outside world for sure. We have to endure certain weather conditions. We have to endure certain people in our lives, either personally or politically. But we also have to endure our own interior process, to endure our own healing, to endure the dissolving of illusions. It's called disillusionment. The opposite is to be illusioned. But we also have to endure joy, bliss, ecstasy, happiness. I can hear you thinking, why would I have to endure that? That stuff's wonderful. And yet, how often do we wait for the other shoe to drop because we know it's not going to last forever? And yet, as we grow and evolve spiritually, we remove the blocks to the presence of the divine. And so we have to build an interior strength. I've been calling it scaffolding, a circuitry and interior musculature to be able to withstand the bliss, the beauty, the ecstasy, the joy, the grace of the divine. So I offer this prayer because it's one of the three graces that I pray for every day: the Maiden, the Mother, and the Crone grace. The Maiden grace of humility, to know that I don't know, but I'm willing to be shown. The Mother grace of hope, that hope be continually reborn within me, day by day. Sometimes it's moment by moment. Hope that there's a greater good manifesting in my life right now, somehow, without really knowing how. The Crone grace of endurance, the crone has endured, has lived through, has healed, has served, has walked the path for so long. So take a deep breath. Here's the Crone grace prayer for endurance. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, please hover above me. Let the grace of endurance rise within me and flood me with a strength beyond this world, that I may endure my path, that I may have the endurance to heal, the grace to grow, the grace to heal, and the grace to forgive. All of that is endurance, the strength of my soul, the eternal strength of the truth of who I am, the endurance to live my life according to my integrity, which is always going to be evolving. Help me endure my path. Help me endure my negativity when it rises, that I may embrace the lead, the shadow, and alchemize it with this grace into gold, into light. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So mote it be. Amen.